Hello, everybody. It's my privilege to introduce to you, all the way from the south side of Chicago, the man, the myth, the legend, my Theo, your brother, the Southside Unicorn.
Hey, everybody. That's right. It's Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Southside Unicorn Show. It's Friday. I hope you're doing something cool. I hope you're somewhere where somebody's making you feel good. You got a smile on your face. Bottom line is, I just want you to be, I wish you happy feelings. You know how Mays used to say it. I wish you happy feelings. Hear me right now, yeah. Happy feelings. Yeah, that's what I wish for you all out there right now. Be somewhere where you want to be, doing something that you want to do, with people that you want to do it to, or do it with, or you know what I mean. Hey, again, crazy week. We did our Wednesday show, try to keep up with everything that's going on, but in between time and in between time, in the meantime, that's what I meant to say. We lost a political giant. Representative Elijah Cummings passed away. And, you talk about a situation that can identify the duality of man. This particular, passing can do just that. But I'm going to read from an article printed by the Fox news station. Representative Elijah Cummings, the powerful House Democrat who represented Baltimore for more than 2 decades, and was a vocal critic of President Trump, died early Thursday after battling health problems. That's what his office said. Cummings, who was 68, died at Gilchrist Hospice Care, a Johns Hopkins affiliate. As chairman of the House Oversight and Reform Committee, he was one of the most powerful Democrats in Washington and played a key role in the House Democrats' ongoing efforts to impeach Trump. That's how they say it, but it should be President Trump. Elijah Cummings, remembered by politicians, activists, and celebrities. Tributes poured in Thursday from lawmakers and others in politics on both sides of the aisle. I was shocked and saddened to learn the news this morning of my dear friend's passing, House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer. A fellow Maryland Democrat said in a statement, Elijah Cummings was a man of principle, patriotism, and conviction, whose loss will be deeply felt throughout the state of Maryland and our country. Quote again, Steny Hoyer. The White House flag was lowered to half-staff. A tweet was made by our President Donald J. Trump in regards to this matter, and it reads, My warmest condolences to the family and many friends of Congressman Elijah Cummings, tweeted Trump. I got to see firsthand the strength, passion, and wisdom of this highly respected political leader. His work and voice on so many fronts will be very hard, if not impossible, to replace. Cummings' office said in a brief statement that he died due to complications concerning long-standing health challenges. Cummings had been in ill health for the past few years, navigating the Capitol in a motorized cart and using a walker. Quote, he worked until his last breath because he believed our democracy was the highest and best expression of our collective humanity. That's a quote from his wife, Maya Rockeymoore Cummings. Dead at age 68, Representative Elijah Cummings. This is a rough one, ladies and gentlemen, because, if you go on my Facebook page, all you have to do is start the link on my Twitter page, which is at Ken White 4444, and it'll lead you to all the other links, including the donation page. We would appreciate that very much. But at the same time this man has passed, we have to admit that we have become a hyper-partisan country. Politics permeates everything. It stopped, Sanders from being able to eat dinner with her family. It stops Chick-fil-A from being able to run its business peaceably. It stops bakers in Colorado from working their craft and feeding their families because, see, politics permeates everything. And if you go on my page, you're going to see that I've been posting some stuff that's not very kind in the memory of Representative Elijah Cummings. And I won't take it down, and I won't bite my tongue about it. Now, I must admit, pardon me, as I coin him lovingly, my little big brother, Mo Kelly, is trying to keep me honest, and I respect that in him. I'm honored that he even takes the time. You know, he checks some of the things I do, and I guess he's trying to ensure that there's veracity and factual-based information that I'm disseminating to my audience, and that's good. You know, you got to have people in the game. You rub shoulders with the people you most hope to be like, and I admire Mo Kelly's style and his imprimatur. Howsomever, the meme that's on my page basically says that Elijah Cummings said that, you know, President Trump would win 2020 over his dead body. Is it a total quote from Representative Elijah Cummings? We're still all looking to find out the origin of it. But at the same time, we don't have to look very far for the substance of it. This man, if he were still vertical, and I wished he were, don't get me wrong on this, I wished he were. But if he was still vertical, what would he be doing? He would still be chairing a coup d'etat of President Donald J. Trump. He would still have a Baltimore begging him to treat one half the same way he would treat the other half. Because let's face it, it's already been proven. I got friends that went out there and did work in that area. And one part of his constituency, they doing just fine. That'd be the white folk. And on the other half, people living in abject squalor. And in between both of those realities are billions of dollars missing, unaccounted for, that should have and could have seen Baltimore be a shining city on the hill. So that's the duality. That's the issue. Because some, you know, as my friend Mason Weaver pointed out, if, God forbid, this was the passing of President Donald J. Trump, how many of you would be in the streets with ticker tape parades, dancing a jig and dancing on the hoods of cars? So don't come at us, or me in particular, because I'm using this as a teaching moment. We have become too out of whack. We saw Senator McCain do the same thing. His TDS, hashtag TDS, was so high, so deep, that he left this earth with a spirit of unforgiveness, and he passed it on to his daughter. Now it's rumored that even on his deathbed, Representative Elijah Cummings was signing subpoenas. Or somebody was moving his hand, because now it's alleged that two of them don't even match his signature. This is at the moment that he's passing away, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, I brought these things up. Yes, I'm saying them because, as I mentioned on my page, and I got to give love and prop, you know, up to Valerie Rawlins, because she came in like the cavalry and added more truth to my words. I said to some people on my page, including some loved ones and friends and family members, they're like, damn, Kenny, that's cold. The man ain't even dead, and look how you talking. And my attitude was, if his name was Idi Amin Umdada, if his name was Papa Doc Duvalier, if his name was Fidel Castro, how many people would be celebrating his passing away? Because it would spell the end of oppression. It would spell the end of suffering for so many. Why is this man immune from the same critique when his legacy will be a rat-infested, garbage-laden, abused and neglected community? We have got to stop this. Does he have imprimatur dripping all over him? Of course he does. That's what they do. They give each other awards and honorariums and this and that. He's got like 9 honorary doctorate degrees, you know? But that's what they do. They shower each other in all that flowery stuff, and it makes it all but impossible for someone to critique them. Because you got to get through all of that he chaired on this board, and he was on this board, and he did this, and he did that, and he was on the Navy board. None of that matters. At the end of the day, when a single black mom can't even get him to come to her house and see how she's living. See, I got issues with Colin Powell too, but at the same time, I was blessed, I guess, fortunate to actually sit in with Colin Powell at a meeting one time, a seminar, and he said he made it his business to know how the lesser people were doing. He knew the names of the garage man and the janitor, and he knew the birth dates and all that, because he said the best showing of your character is how you treat people who can't do anything for you. Well, come on, I'm sorry he's gone. But, you know, the single black mom in his community, the most she could do for him is give up the vote. And sadly, most black people just give it up. They just give up the vote. That's a given and an expected to a leftist or a Democrat. He ain't even got to wonder or worry about where his vote coming from, because you know you giving it up. But why is it that this man was immune to a little bit of criticism? Is it because he's dead? Is it because he's black? Is it because he's a Democrat? No, we got to get beyond that. We got to learn from this stuff. Was he sick? Yes, he was. And therein lies the point between him and Bernie Sanders. This stuff is so driving them. Something else is driving them, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't just trying to be president. Bernie Sanders had a heart attack. And the man is back trying to run for president. What's driving that man? Elijah Cummings was making his way around Washington in a motor scooter and a cane. What's driving this man? And you can't say it's Donald J. Trump, because he is not the things that they tried to say he is. If put it this way, if Donald J. Trump was all the things that Elijah Cummings and all the rest of them tried to say he was, then where was Elijah Cummings' voice 10 years ago? Where was it 15 years ago? Donald J. Trump's been around. He's been doing his thing. You never heard nothing from any of them. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Something isn't right. Oh, I always do it anymore. I keep going over. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hello, hello, baby, you called, I can't hear a thing. I have got no service in the club, you say. What did you say? Oh, you're breaking up on me. Sorry, I cannot hear you, I'm kinda busy.
Hey, it's Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and we are back for the second segment. We left off, we were giving a thought and our condolences as well to the memory of Representative Elijah Cummings. But I'm trying to say something here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll try to drill it down to this idea. We have lost the time for this fake courtesy. We have lost the time for that. This man passed away, albeit unexpectedly. I mean, he was in poor health, but no one expected him to simply pass away like that. Granted, in the world of Qism, you got, Joe Biden at the debates mentioned the date, the 17th. And that reminded me, that set me off on something, because I was like, wait a minute. I do remember telling Elijah Cummings on a tweet, and you can go and check it for yourself. You need to repent, sir, You need to stop attacking Donald J. Trump, President Donald J. Trump. You need to go to your constituents and apologize to them. And while you at it, can you go to my friends who are out there, the persistence and everyone who went and cleaned up Baltimore? Can you at least say thank you to them? Now, if he was in such poor health that he could not speak to people, that's one thing. But he always found enough voice. He always found enough breath to bear ill news on President Donald J. Trump. But he never thanked my friends for coming out there and cleaning up his city. He never even looked in the direction of that issue. Ignored it completely. The exact same way he did his people, his constituency. So I'm sorry. On one hand, the duality of it is you're going to have all kind of people saying all kind of stuff about him. Mo Kelly was quick to come to his, defense upon my meme and saying, he's an honorable man. He's this, he's that. And I'm going to just leave you all with this because I prayed on it and I was like, Lord God, why is this what I should speak? And I'm right. I'm not coming off of it. But I'm going to add this on and you'll have to check it out for yourself. 1 Samuel, it's chapter 23, verse 26 through 29, and Psalms 69, verse 4. Take a read on those, and then think about Representative Elijah Cummings, in perspective to President Donald J. Trump. Something's going on here. Because, see, they want to tell you that Elijah Cummings was a civil rights leader and all that. As Shirley Hussar brought up in one of her postings, she said something don't add up. That would mean that Elijah Cummings, Representative Elijah Cummings, RIP, he would have had to have been 10 to 12 years old to be walking with Dr. King. She said something ain't matching up here with that, but we'll give him that credit. He may have been a young man marching in the civil rights movement or being more involved later on, but you can stay in a situation too long. You can be in a place too long. I watched some of my favorite fighters, George Foreman, Lennox Lewis, a whole bunch of guys. Even Mike Tyson, the great Mike Tyson. You can stay somewhere too long. Just like a king. Kings are kings for a moment, for a season, for an era. But you're not the eternal king because there's only one eternal king. The King of Kings. And so, Elijah Cummings, he stayed too long. He had gotten to a point where I guess his drive wasn't focused right. And when a new king comes up, instead of seeing him for who he is, seeing that the God we all serve is a living God, stop trying to fit him in that book. That book is for us. He is the author of it. It is a book to him. God is God all by himself. And he moves through our lives as he would. But we get caught up in the dogma, in the rhythms. You get up in the morning, you go to Congress, and you've made these friends, and you're shaking hands down the aisles, and you're important, and you're somebody. And then along comes somebody. And instead of seeing who they are, well, you become like King Saul, don't you? And you fight that person, and you try to hunt them down, and you try to kill that person. Sometimes you got to watch out what you're fighting for or fighting against. Because if you don't check yourself, you just might be fighting against the will of God. That's all I'm saying. Now you got to remember, do they still investigate you posthumously? Because there were investigations being set into place on Representative Elijah Cummings and his widow, his wife. Are those investigations going to continue? And so I'm not here to be like, I'm going to tear this man down in death. These are the things we have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen, because most of these leaders are up in age. Look at Hillary Clinton. Almost fell out while she was running for president back in 2016. Had to be pushed inside the van. These people are being driven by something more than themselves. Because watch this. Let's put it in its proper perspective. Bernie Sanders, heart attack. Hillary Clinton almost falling back and having to be pushed inside of her, vehicle. Joe Biden, blood gushing out his eyes and can't even hold his words together. And then sadly, the loss of Representative Elijah Cummings. But now, Flip the coin. President Donald J. Trump. He's walking like he's got wings of eagles. He doesn't look like he, as Hillary Clinton said one time, I'm nowhere near as tired. Well, that's her, and the devil is a liar. But Donald J. Trump, President Donald J. Trump, that man got heat in his step. He moves so much, people half his age are like, I can barely keep up with the man. Look at the energy in his eyes. Look at the strength in his voice. Look at the ceaseless power coming out of him. And then you just wait a two. I ain't got to say much more than that. You make the connection. So enough on that. Like I said, everything meets its opposites. That's what the title of this show is. And that's a hella opposite. That right there should set the pace as we go through the rest of the show. And we'll be discussing different opposites throughout the show. But you got the Democrats all falling apart, in poor health, in poor mental health, in poor spirits, lying all the time. Look at that Nancy Pelosi. She can't even sit in a room with the president without coming out with a created and manufactured lie, pointing a finger at him and all that stuff. You know, the governor of Texas did that to Obama, and all hell broke loose. No pun intended. But Nancy, I was about to say another name. Nancy Pelosi does it, and it's, my girl, high fives. You showed him. You stood up in a room full of men. Well, I don't want to be looked at like that. I'm sure most men don't want to be looked at like that no more. Imagine a man walking into a room and people giving him a high five. Well, you showed them women what was up. One man against all them women. Flip the script. Make it opposite. And see what you're dealing with. The Democrats are off the rail, ladies and gentlemen. You know, so one, hats off to my man Donald J. Trump and his rally the other day. He look, CNN, you busted, you cold busted. You know, we know that you hate the man. I mean, we got the videotape to prove it. News at 5 on another channel other than CNN, right? Y'all done. You can sit there and say, the polls say that Trump is behind 7%. You and your poll, look, polls are for strippers. That's the way I look at it anymore. There ain't nothing about a poll that's going to interest me at this point. I look at the action and the truth of the people. 20,000 inside, 30,000 trying to get in. That is dunamos. That's dynamos. That's power. That's the election right there. He clowned the presidential ideal inside of that rally. You know, I had to suffer through 8 years of some big-eared jabroni. And man, was he presidential. Let me tell you, woo, he was president. Up there, I have something to say, and I'm going to say it in such an erudite way that you're going to believe my crap. I had to listen to that for 8 damn years. And nothing of fruit, nothing of life was in it. And now we got a president. Oh, he's not articulate. Hell, sometimes he says stuff and it's like, huh? But you get it after a while. And I'm going to let you in on a secret. You know, if somebody warned you over and over and over again, don't do something, don't be about something. Like maybe, okay, say a parent, an adult to a teenager or a young adolescent, you know, they're telling you, don't do this. It's going to end up like this. Stay on the path or you're going to end up getting your clothes dirty or whatever. But they're warning you and they're trying to help you stay right and proper. But being who we are, because that's the human nature, that's the way young folks are and adolescents are, oh, you do it anyway. You go ahead and you get all jacked up and messed up and help, I've fallen down and I can't get up. Whatever the situation might be. Well, that loving, wise, caring person is going to save you because they love you, because it's the right thing to do, because they care. So yes, they're going to come and save you. But if reaching for you they grip your hand a little hard, if pulling you out of the mud, they yank just a little bit, if when they try to, give you the medicine or the injection or whatever you need, that needle hits the bone just a little bit, well, then that's what you get for not listening in the first place. And I say all of that to bring it around to this idea. President Donald J. Trump plays a song, You can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. He ain't playing that song by accident. He knows in his spirit, man, why he is who he is. Because God chooses who he uses. And so we're being yanked out of the mud. We're getting the help we need. We're getting the medicine we need. But it's got a little sting to it. It's got a little pull to it. A little extra yank. And that's his bellicose behavior. That's his mouth. That's the way he imparts the message. Does it offend the elite? Yes, it does. And it is supposed to. They're like pigs in tuxedos. He's in our community and he talks like such a swine. I'm embarrassed by him. And they're pigs in tuxedos themselves. God has a sense of humor. And he's saving us, he's helping us. But it's going to bite a little bit. It's going to embarrass a little bit. So, yeah, we got a president now that just wrote almost virtually a handwritten letter to Syria saying, yo, man, don't be a fool. Don't be a bad leader. When Obama said, cut it out, Russia, nobody had a problem with that. It's always the opposite when you're dealing with a Democrat. I always try to tell people, don't even bother debating a leftist or a Democrat because it's going to always be 2 against 1. And the reason I say that is because they're hypocrites. So there's always 2 sides to everything they're trying to do. You sitting there just trying to debate the issue and be square with them. And their hypocrisy is standing right next to them. And what applies to them and their way of reasoning will not be used fairly in any conversation you have with them. I don't know what we're going to do with them. I mean, I know they can't have power anymore. You got to agree with that too. It just can't happen. You got Kamala Harris sitting here arguing about, keeping our hands out women's bodies so they can continue to do abortions while the Planned Parenthood is in court today because they got cold busted. They really do sell baby parts. They really do sell them for profit. All that's on trial right now while Kamala Harris is saying, let them keep on doing it. We don't need that stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And go nowhere. We're going to keep on doing opposites, keep on having this conversation, but we got to take a station break. We'll be right back.
Hello, hello, baby, you called, I can't hear a thing. I have got no service in the club, you say. What did you say? Oh, you're breaking up on me. Sorry, I cannot hear you, I'm kinda busy. Sorry, I cannot hear you, I'm kinda busy. Just a second, it's my favorite song they're gonna play. And I cannot text you if I'm drinking.
Mother always told me, be careful who you love, and be careful what you do. 'Cause the lie becomes the truth.
I have doubt. I want to know now. I don't want.
She's just a girl, thinks that I'm the one, but the kid is not my son.
In the case of 11-week-old Thomas Michael Jackson, you are the father.
The kid is not my son.
Hey, we're back for the third segment of Funked Up Fridays, which is everything has its opposites, and we were, discussing the ins and outs of Democrats and their hypocrisy and just the way things are so opposite with them. It's not supposed to be like that, ladies and gentlemen. The culture of the Democrat Party has been contaminated. It's been contaminated with outsiders. with people, a mindset, a spirit that has no business in America. There used to be a time, not a long period of time, but there used to be a time when the differences between a Democrat and Republicans were not as pronounced as they are now. We're literally on different hemispheres of the idea of life itself. One group believes that life is sacred, as you heard Donald J. Trump say in his rally, that children are a gift from God. And the other half says, keep your hands off my body. I want to be able to abort a baby. Well, why don't we take it another step further, Kamala Harris? How about we just keep our hands off your body, period, and not let the spark of life even begin in you so you can murder it? Okay? Because what most people don't even realize is if you look at an egg and a spermatozoa, when they come together, if you watch it under the electron microscope, it's very brief, and they actually have it slowed down where you can see it. Go on YouTube and look for a spark of life. Just go take a look. Just type in spark of life. And what you will see is at the moment, there's just this moment when that sperm fertilizes that egg, it kicks off a spark of light. They say that light is almost equal to the heat of the sun, but yet it doesn't incinerate the mom. She doesn't feel any pain. Maybe she can feel that that's the moment when life starts. Maybe that's the day she goes, I wonder if. But there is a spark of life. And there are some of us who are trying to protect the spark of life. And there are others trying to extinguish it. There's your opposite. There's your map. There's your roadmap as to how we should be getting down going towards 2020. This election coming up, man, it's as clear as the day that, people were given a choice. Do we release Jesus or do we give you Barabbas? And what did everybody say? Better buy, give us Barabbas. We better not do that. Give us Barabbas. Give us salvation. Give us a reprieve from our own mistakes. Yank us out of this mud. Give us that injection of healing, even though it might hurt a little bit. That's what we better get, because once the decision is made, the die is cast. I mean, I'll go back to segment 1. God rest his soul. But Representative Elijah Cummings, in the last days of his life, was sitting on a committee that went inside of closed doors, forbid Republican representatives from going inside, and they call that an act of justice. They lionize him and say he was an honorable man. While in the halls of Congress, subpoenas were being written, and they don't even match his signature, is what they're purporting at this time. Obviously, we're going to find out more about these things. We got to be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Got to get this one right. Case in point, I want to read this to you because it's true. It happened. I'm going to expand on it after I finish reading it, y'all. You gotta take the ride on these kind of things and just sit on back and let me talk and you listen. And then you can respond on the page. Going over to my Facebook page, join the group. Join on Spreaker too. The more of you that join on Spreaker, the larger my voice becomes. The more they'll give me, airplay and whatnot. So even if you can't donate, click a like, share, retweet, do something like that. Let's get this going, Security Minister Alfonso Durazo said a patrol by National Guard militarized police first came under attack from within a house in the city of Culhuacan, Mexico, which is northwest of Mexico City. After entering the house, the found 4 men. I hate the way some people write. Ooh, they write so bad. Including Ovidio Guzman, who is accused of drug trafficking in the United States. The patrol was quickly outmatched by cartel gunmen. However, as it was withdrawn to prevent lives being lost, the government said simultaneously fighters swarmed through the city, battling police and soldiers in broad daylight. They torched vehicles and left at least one gas station ablaze. The decision was taken to retreat from the house without Guzman to try to avoid more violence in the area and preserve the lives of our personnel and recover calm in the city, a Durazo reporter said. This thing is written really bad, ladies and gentlemen. What it really is this. El Chapo's son was arrested. I mean, basically trying to mess the cartel up and get it on up out of there. So El Chapo's son got arrested, and you never guess what happened. An armed group of drug soldiers, I guess you want to call. I don't know what you call them, but they were more armed. Seemed like they were better trained than the police. So in Mexico, Culhuacan City, right? You got 14 of the drug lords' soldiers dead. All of the police, were shot down and killed. And as they're trying to repel to get up out of all that superior gunfire, they left young Guzman to be retrieved and saved by these drug lords who literally took him back from the police and the army. Just roll up in there and gangster took him back. Now, that's some pretty bad stuff. Like when our president in his rally says that they're not sending us their best, that they some pretty bad hombres. Well, it's true. I mean, what I just read you happened on Thursday. And it would read like something out of Hollywood if it wasn't real. I mean, we see it in movies. We make up movies like that with Will Smith and all these guys in it, where the bad guy pulls up to the convoy and starts firing on the police, and they take back their leader. It ain't no movie. That happened. And let me just throw this up in there real quick. If you know that you're being attacked, and the sole purpose of it is to get back the son of a drug lord who's trying to pick back up his empire, that's putting opioids and fentanyl and drugs and sex trafficking and human smuggling and child abuse back into the world, why didn't you pop him 2 times as you repelled? What's up with you? I'm not playing when I say that. I'm serious. Because that's the world we're living in anymore. If we're going to reclaim or even at least protect America, we got to get more serious and realistic about what we're doing. We got people in Congress trying to impeach a president behind closed doors. And let me add this real quick. Did you know the former president of Mexico was invited here? He was in Temecula or the Desert Springs somewhere, and he's talking. And of course, he's talking trash about our president on our soil and about our way of life. And some sucker bears let him. Did you know what he said? Do you know what he said? Watch this. This is some of that opposite stuff again. Check this out. This is what this man said. He said, President Trump is making you guys xenophobes. He is closing America off from the rest of the world. You're damn skippy he is. We better get that wall built real high, Eminem. I'm going to make that wall this tall. Damn right we're going to make it that tall. Do we want drug lords doing open shootings in our streets, taking back their people from magistrates, law enforcement? Do we really want that in our country? Nah, I'd rather just watch it on a movie than to have it happening in real life. So another opposite. Come on. Donald J. Trump is trying to build a wall. Donald J. Trump is trying to restore our sovereignty. And we got the former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, in our country talking trash about Donald J. Trump trying to insulate and protect us from that. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. It's real. It's happening right here in our faces. So, we gotta button down on that. I could have read more about it, but I think I made the point, about my man Vicente Fox and his country. Why don't you do this, Mr. Fox? Why don't you make Mexico such a place that your people don't be trying to leave to get here? Why don't you make your country such a place that people are actually breaking their neck to get there? But until you can get that done, how about you just shut the hell up about America? I'm sick and tired of it. It's like Columbus Day. Everybody talking about some Indigenous Citizen Day. Man, I'm gonna invest in a luggage company because a lot of y'all need to be packing your bags and getting the hell up out of here. Indigenous Citizen Day. Look, don't give me this, well, they lied to us back when I was a kid. They didn't tell us that he was a murderous, raping SOB. Man, you were in the 5th freaking grade. What teacher's going to tell you about Christopher Columbus and that, or even worse, tell you about the so-called indigenous people who were doing mass sacrifices? And when I say mass sacrifice, I'm not even talking about what they did to get El Chapo's son back. You know, like 25 people dead. They've got mass graves they just discovered in Mexico the other day of law enforcement officers and stuff that they just pop. No, I'm not talking about that. You know, they kind of calmed down over the centuries. But there was a time when they were poking people in their chest, pulling their hearts out, raising the hearts up to the sun and kicking the body down the stairs. Now, how is a teacher supposed to tell you that and you 8 years old? So they're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you about the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. And in 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. That's about all you should know. That's about all you can handle. And if you weren't so busy trying to always make things politicized and agendicized, is that a word? Agendicized? Is it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. You would be honest about it. The truth about Christopher Columbus has always been there. The truth about the indigenous people has always been there. But you got to get to high school. You got to get to college for that. So stop this lie about, oh, they lied to us about who he was. And it's ridiculous what we're doing. See, that's why I theorize in my heart. I say that's why time travel is not possible. Because some sanctimonious idiot would jump in a time machine and go back and try to rewrite history. Don't you know the first rule? I mean, that's why it's on Star Trek, baby. Don't you know that that's the first rule of time travel? Don't mess with nothing. Don't touch nothing. You could accidentally change all kind of stuff. As much as we'd like to go back and, bust one on Adolf Hitler, you better not. And I know that sounds whack, but you have no freaking idea how many different timelines you would create by doing that. Case in point, look at us. Look at the civil rights movement of 1960s. Because people are trying to rewrite the truth about what the meaning of freedom is, what the meaning of being a citizen of America is, now we got LeBron James and Colin Kaepernick. Because, see, the leftists did their own version of a whack time travel. They didn't do it in a machine, no. They just did it by rewriting our children's minds about what the past really should mean. And now, look at our future based on messing with the timeline. Stop trying to go back and do revisionist history. It doesn't work, it doesn't help, and we don't need it. But we do need to do a station break, so we will be right back after these messages. And go nowhere.
Hello, baby, you called, I can't hear a thing. I have got no service in the club, you say. What did you say? Oh, you're breaking up on me. Sorry, I cannot hear you, I'm kinda busy.
Give me the duty officer.
Hey, it's Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and we are in the fourth and last segment of Funked Up Fridays. And it is, everything has its opposites. It does. I think I've made that point throughout the show, and you can probably come up with some of your own opposites about how things are playing out in our lives today. If you have any ideas, share them on the show. Go ahead and jump on Twitter and give me your opinion about what you think about this show. If you want to make some donations and whatnot, that's easy to do. You simply go to paypal.me/Ken White 4444. Anything's appreciated. Thank you very much for that. You can go onto Twitter at Ken White 4444 or our Facebook page. Trust me, you want to have a lively, fair conversation about any topic you see or the topics that we post, come on to my page. People on my page are leftists, they're rightists, they're uppists, they're downist, they're gay, they're straight, they're everything, and they know how to converse with each other. It's very refreshing. You gotta come and get some of it. Come get some, because on my page we don't disrespect each other. I mean, every now and then somebody gets triggered, but we pull them back in. We all do, and we remind that person, hey, this is one of those places where we really can have a conversation, where we really can just talk about things. You'd be amazed. Hell, some people have gotten me to rethink some things that I thought. I mean, there's a gentleman on my page, I won't mention his name, but he actually works for NPR. Okay, he was one of the leading editors for NPR. He's on my page. And every now and then he'll say some stuff, and I go, you know what? What I thought I knew, I didn't really know. Thank you to my brother Mo Kelly. Every now and then, he can pull my, my chain a little bit and drop something down on me and make me go, Oh, and that reminds me, tomorrow, you want to listen to the Mo Kelly Show. If you are a MAGA, a KAG, Republican, what have you, you want to show Michelle Malkin much love. I'm glad it's happening. Tomorrow, she's going to be on my brother's show. It promises to be one hella show. I'm going to be listening in, and I got my own show to do. But I will definitely be listening, because we got to show our warriors, our fighters like Michelle Malkin, we got to show much love. And she's going off into the territory, y'all. I'm not, watch this. Let me correct that. Mo Kelly is very fair and balanced. He really is. But his audience, I don't know how many red hats you'd see in an audience if they showed up, if you know what I mean. So we got to show up tomorrow in numbers and in count, and let's show her the most important love. Oh wow, that reminds me. Speaking of the most important love, I'm just gonna drop this in here in the middle of the show because I just like it so much. Maybe you'll get a kick out of it too, because the most important love to Republicans, the most important love to conservatives, the most important love to Christians, the most important love to patriots is the love we share with each other and the love we have for our children, our community, our country, and our God. But when I said most important love, it made me, think about my man James Harden and his most important love. So here we go.
We apologize. We love China. We love, playing there. I know for both of us individually, we go there, once or twice a year. They show us the most important love. So, we appreciate them as a fan base, and we love everything, they're about it. And we appreciate the support that they give us individually and as an organization. So, we love them. We love China. We love, playing there. I know for both of us individually, we go there, once or twice a year. They show us the most important love. So, we appreciate them as a fan base, and we love everything, they're about it. They show us the most important love. So, we appreciate them as a fan base, and we love everything, they're about it. They show us the most important love. So, we appreciate them as a fan base, and we love everything, they're about it. They show us the most important love. So, 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 they show us the most important love. So.
You know, that's James Harden with the most important love, right? And what's your most important love? I mean, everybody's got a different one. I wonder what yours is. Do you care to share? Do you dare? Go ahead and come on the page, the Facebook page, or on Twitter, and tell me, what's your most important love? You know, my most important love, I think it's pretty clear to my listeners and everything what my most important love is. My most important love is to be lined up with the will of God. That means more to me than anything. And the funny part about it is, and I'm sure we all have our own stories about it. You know, when I was a young man, my mama used to have this rule. She's like, if you can have your butt out there on that basketball court and be walking around that library in the park on Saturdays, you can get your butt up and go to church on Sundays. Oh, I went to church. I went to church every Sunday morning because my mama didn't play that. If she got up and we had to get on that bus in Chicago, the CTA, Chicago Transit Authority, you know, and get on over there to Wabash Avenue to the First Church of Deliverance. That was my mom and my auntie's church. They both sang in the choir, you know, the whole 9 yards. But when you think about what happens to us sometimes, you know, you leave home, you go into the Air Force, now you're 19, now you're 20, you're 25. You can fall off a little bit. You can kind of wander away. But, you know, in those times of your life, you don't know, you know, what your most important love is. You think your most important love is getting in the club before it gets crowded. You think your most important love is that hottie you met with that drink. You know, the way she holds it standing up against the wall. You know, these things become your most important love. Your most important love is getting that carnauba wax so you can rub it into the paint job of your nice ride before you go hit the barbecue. You know, your most important love is stacking them chips like napkins. You know what I'm saying? And you think you're rolling. You think it's all good. What's your most important love at this point in your life? Whatever it is, I'd like to hear about it because, you know, through my journey so far, I've had some most important loves that actually didn't matter worth a damn. So when I listen to James Harden and LeBron James and Colin Kaepernick, I look at these young men, I look at the dates they were born. Man, if their moms were somewhere here in California, the high possibility of a DNA test being required, if you know what I'm trying to say. They could be our sons. You know, Obama only says that when it's a white cop shooting a black kid. He could have been my son. Well, why ain't you talking about Colin Kaepernick? Why ain't you talking about LeBron James? LeBron, B-U-M, LeBron James. Why ain't you talking about, you know, James Harden? These poor young men. These poor young men. Rich as Midas. Got more money than I'll ever know in my lifetime. And yet I do a soul check and I go, wow. I think back to the times in my life. Hey, wow, epiphany right here on the show. I could have made a decision 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and said, you know what? That might be the voice of God coming at me. It could be. But I ain't messing with that, God. Because you see, if I start talking the way you want me to start talking, if I start being this thing that you want me to be, well, my phone's going to get, you know, quiet. Ain't nobody going to call me for those special jobs I used to do. Ain't nobody going to be calling me to try to put 5 digits in my hand no more because they all up out of Hollywood. They all up out of the very places that ain't feeling President Donald J. Trump. They ain't feeling God. None of that. But I made a choice. I prayed on it. I rocked on it. I went back and forth with it. My pillow got filled with tears. And I made a decision. Not my will. Not mine, but yours. And so I'll do this thing. And though my money was nowhere near a Colin Kaepernick or LeBron James or Harding, oh, it dried up. Sure as I knew it would. My business evaporated right in front of my eyes. But I made a choice to do what's right, to speak the truth, and to try to reach the people, not just before you get to a ballot box, not because you go into the ballot box, and not after you get to the ballot box. We got more work to do than a vote. We have to change the very culture, the very idea upon which we think and operate. And I'm here to help. I'm here to open my mouth and get the word out to you, no matter the cost. So when I look at these guys talking about their most important love, I was angry last week because I got friends in Hong Kong. They're on my Twitter page. Check it. And they're actually fighting the fight in Hong Kong. Some of them are injured to this very point. I wish I could get something to them so they could get fixed, but you can't get stuff in there. They're not letting you. And I watch these young black men because the system got to them. Because they pumped them full of, we're going to kiss your butt because you got athletic prowess. We're going to make you feel so special that you could never do nothing wrong. Everybody around them is just trying to be down with them. Everybody around them got their lips in the pucker mode. That's guys and girls included. We have ruined them. We have harmed them. Of all the slaves in the field, of all the people doing the Selma March, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. And now, the product, the very people, the dream and the hope of why people gave up their lives, made sacrifices, stands before us, hooked and enchained, enslaved by gold yen coming out of China. The greatest thing LeBron James, Colin Kaepernick, and Harding and all the rest of them could have done would have been to support Hong Kong with a raised fist and a black glove and give to those people the very same thing that we were blessed with back in the 1950s and 60s. I gotta say it. I don't like what Mitt Romney's doing right now. Mitt Romney himself, straight punk. Yes, I said it. But his father marched in the civil rights movement. White guy. He got bit by the same dogs, hit by the same water hoses as did the black people. Think about the people who took the ride, the freedom rides. When that car blew up or it was pulled out of the murky swamp, there were white people in there, Jewish people in there. They died with us to ensure we would get our freedom. And now we got Arizona Presley. She's poised and ready. She may as well put on her Communist Party uniform right now because she's the finished product of the Socialist Indoctrination Center. We gotta start changing the minds of our young people. We may have lost some, but unless we start now and start pushing back into our communities, we're gonna have young Antifas blocking the elderly from walking across the street and actually laying hands on them, ladies and gentlemen. And it's up to us to make sure that doesn't happen. You should sow into this show. You should spread the word of this show. You should help my voice get further and further out there because Twitter, Facebook, come on, Facebook should be ashamed. Facebook, you should be ashamed of yourself. I had over 60,000 hits less than 2 weeks ago. And then all of a sudden, the little arrow started pointing down. And then it went down by 20%, 30%, 40%. I got people sending me proof that you're blocking me out. What a shame. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back here on Saturday with more to talk about, more to do. I'm going to start trying to do something special on Sundays. You might want to get in on it. I'm going to actually start doing personal interviews with people who just want to share their story and get it out there to the folks. I'm going to start inviting you guys to come on to the show, and we're going to do interviews on Sundays. That's what Sunday will be about. This show went absolutely very fast. Enjoy being with you all. Love you much. This is Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and I will see you on Saturday. Be there or be square.